The following is a list of 13 of the most notoriously haunted locations in Staten Island, New York. Number 1. Baron Hirsch Cemetery. Baron Hirsch Cemetery in Staten Island, New York, was established in 1899 by a man named Maurice de Hirsch and spans over 80 acres. Visitors often report witnessing mysterious orbs and shadow figures, as well as experiencing other paranormal phenomena, such as cold spots and feeling the presence of an unseen entity. Nearby residents also claim that wandering spirits from the cemetery often appear in their homes. Number 2. The Church of St. Andrew. Constructed in 1712, the Church of St. Andrew in Staten Island, New York, was used as a hospital for colonial soldiers during the American Revolutionary War. Churchgoers report witnessing apparitions and hearing disembodied voices, as well as experiencing other unexplained paranormal phenomena, such as hearing an organ being played when the church is empty, and feelings of being watched by an unseen entity. The Church of St. Andrew was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 2000. Number 3. Fort Wadsworth. Constructed in 1663 by Dutch settlers, Fort Wadsworth in Staten Island, New York, played a major part in the American Revolutionary War, Civil War, and War of 1812. It is said to be haunted by the spirits of former Dutch and American soldiers who died of illness or in battle, and visitors often report witnessing the apparitions of former soldiers, military doctors, and other personnel. Prior to its closing in 1994, Fort Wadsworth was renowned as being the longest continually garrisoned military installment in the United States. Number 4. Hylan Boulevard. The wooded area surrounding Hylan Boulevard in Staten Island, New York, is allegedly the site of an ancient Native American burial ground, where the restless spirits of former tribesmen and women are said to wander the woods late at night. Motorists on Hylan Boulevard often report witnessing apparitions, as well as experiencing feelings of being watched by an unseen entity lurking just out of sight. It is believed that the spirits of the deceased became restless after European settlers took over the land and began construction in the late 1600s. Number 5. The Kreischer Mansion. Constructed in 1885, the Kreischer Mansion in Staten Island, New York, is said to be haunted by the spirit of a man named Edward Kreischer, who committed suicide in June of 1894. In 2005, a man named Robert McKelvey was stabbed multiple times and then drowned in a small pool at the house. His apparition is said to haunt the property along with the spirit of an unknown woman who many suspect was a former resident. Number 6. Moravian Cemetery. Established in 1740, Moravian Cemetery is both the largest and oldest active cemetery on Staten Island. Visitors report witnessing the apparition of a young girl late at night and the spirit of a man wearing a suit, as well as other unidentified apparitions and shadow figures. Others report experiencing paranormal activity such as glowing orbs, cold spots, disembodied voices, and the sounds of a baby crying. Although many have reported encountering spirits at Moravian Cemetery, the reason for their presence is unknown. Number 7. Old Seaview Hospital. Constructed between 1905 and 1938 as a tuberculosis ward, Seaview Hospital in Staten Island, New York, was renowned for being the largest and most expensive sanatorium in the United States at the time of its construction. It is said to be haunted by the spirits of former patients who were subjected to experimental medical procedures and who eventually died of their illness. Urban explorers and paranormal investigators report witnessing apparitions as well as hearing disembodied voices, whispers, and screams. Others report feeling a strange presence or witnessing objects being thrown across the room or moving by themselves. Number 8. Staten Island Historical Society and Living History Museum. Also known as Historic Richmond Town, the Staten Island Historical Society is a living history museum in Staten Island, New York, with many buildings dating back to the late 1600s. Many of the old buildings are said to be haunted by the spirits of past residents who died of illness or from other natural causes. The Guyan Lake Tyson House was built in 1740 and is said to be haunted by the spirit of a woman named Elizabeth Lake Tyson, as well as a number of her young children who all passed away before reaching adulthood. Tourists visiting the Guyan Lake Tyson House report witnessing apparitions as well as hearing disembodied voices, footsteps, and other strange sounds. In some cases, trigger objects such as toys and candy are seen being moved and played with by the spirit of a young child. Employees at the Old County Clerk and Surrogate's office also report hearing disembodied sounds in empty areas of the building, as well as experiencing sudden cold spots and other paranormal activity, such as objects being moved around, rearranged, or misplaced by an unseen entity. Number 9. The Conference House and Museum. Sometimes also referred to as Billop's Point or the Billop Home, the Conference House in Staten Island, New York, was built in the mid-1600s by a British Royal Navy officer named Captain Christopher Billop, and now serves as a museum. It is said to be haunted by the spirits of several Revolutionary War-era soldiers, as well as the spirit of a servant woman who was killed after it was discovered that she was spying for the American Army. Visitors at the location report witnessing apparitions as well as hearing the sounds of disembodied screams and thuds late at night. The Conference House and Museum was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1966. Number 10. The Historic Old Bermuda Inn. Constructed in 1832 by the Massaro family, the historic Old Bermuda Inn in Staten Island, New York, is said to be haunted by the spirit of a young woman named Martha Massaro. According to legend, Mrs. Massaro passed away in the house in 1860, shortly after discovering that her husband, Mr. William Massaro, had been killed in a battle while fighting in the American Civil War. Her spirit is often seen by guests throughout the inn, especially on the second floor in the bedroom where she died. Workers performing renovations on the inn also report hearing strange sounds coming from vacant areas, as well as feeling the presence of an unseen entity. Number 11. St. Augustine Monastery. Constructed in 1899 as a training academy for nuns and priests, St. Augustine Monastery in Staten Island, New York, was closed in 1983 and demolished in 2005. According to legend, a monk who was accused of murdering several other members of the monastery is said to haunt the property where the building once stood, along with the spirits of his victims. Investigators at St. Augustine before its demolition have reported witnessing apparitions and hearing disembodied voices, footsteps, and other strange sounds, especially in the lower levels of the monastery where the former monks were housed. The location is sometimes simply referred to as the monastery, and is rumored by many to be used by a group of satanic cultists to perform dark magic and other rituals. Number 12. Wagner College. Cunard Hall, also known as Cunard Mansion in Staten Island, New York, was constructed in 1852 by the Cunard family and is now used as an administration building at Wagner College. It is said to be haunted by the spirit of a man who committed suicide in 1890 by jumping from a second-story window. Students report witnessing the man's apparition at night, as well as hearing the disembodied sounds of a woman's voice. Number 13. Wolfe's Pond Park. Wolfe's Pond Park is one of the largest parks in Staten Island and is said to be haunted by the spirits of two young men who were killed in a car accident. According to visitors, their apparitions are often seen in the park at night, and many also report hearing the sounds of disembodied voices and screams. That concludes my list of 13 notorious haunted locations in Staten Island, New York. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit like and subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more creepy videos and other content. And if you visited one of these locations, I'd love to hear your stories in the comments. To see my full list of folklore tales and haunted locations in New York, check out the link in the description, and be sure to follow ghostquest.net on social media by clicking the links below. To check out more of my creepy videos, click the thumbnails shown on the screen.